Right, well, let's get started. And as I say again, thank you everybody for joining us today. It's great to have you all on this webinar with us, where we're going to share some amazing information about the fantastic Fiyavalhu Resort in the Maldives. Many of you probably already know the Maldives, but I'm sure most of you probably will not have heard of this particular resort. So I'm very excited to share this property to you because it's a new resort to the market, which I will come to a little bit later as well. Throughout the webinar, you will be muted. If you have any questions, happy to answer them. If you want to pop your questions in the Q&A box, which you'll see on your control panel. And once we finish the webinar at the end, I will come through to the Q&A session and I will go through and answer hopefully all, but if not as many as I can, to answer any of your questions as we go through. So make a note of anything you want to ask as we run through the information, and I will be happy to come to it at the end in the Q&A. If you did have an urgent question that you wanted to ask, then no problem at all. Just go to the control panel and just raise your hand and I'll get a notification. And if I can come to you, we can ask that as we go along. So that's the housekeeping out the way. So let's get started into the reason why you're all here. And that's to hear about Fiyavalhu Resort in the Maldives. So first of all, let me tell you about the webinar and what we're going to cover today. We're going to give you a resort information overview. So we'll give you the location, details about transfer and flights. Obviously, from your perspective, you need to know how to get your clients to us. So I'll give as much information as I can on that. Details on the room categories that we have at the resort, the 6 wonderful room categories that we have at the resort. Dining options, experiences, all the information you need to know. And I'm also delighted to be able to share with you today some exclusive new packages which are launching as of this morning. So you guys are the first people to hear about them and hopefully the first people to go and sell them to your clients, because they are amazing offers and packages that will be available. So I will come to them a bit later on as well. Towards the end of the webinar, I will also give you some information on the travel advisor incentive. So what do you guys get out of selling this resort to your clients as well? So commissions, rates, and maybe even some information on a little fam trip which we might be organizing. So before we go into all the information, I would like to start off by sharing with you a video just to whet your appetite for this lovely resort, to tease you into finding the information out that we're going to give on the webinar. So sit tight and watch for a minute and a half on how to immerse yourself in the Maldives. Welcome to Fiyavalhu in the Maldives. As you can see, a beautiful resort and a great location. And on the location, let me tell you a bit about the Maldives. So I know many of you do already sell the Maldives, but for those of you that you don't, here's just a brief introduction about the Maldives itself, just as a destination. So as you may know, it's made up of lots and lots of different islands. In fact, there's 1,192 islands in the Maldives, the collection of islands in the Maldives, and they're all made up of different coral reefs. And in fact, it's actually known as the country that has the richest marine biodiversity, with over 250 species of coral, over 1,000 species of fish, which most of them, at least 75% of the fish that you find in the Maldives, are actually protected because they're endangered species. So it's quite a special place in the world to visit. In the collection of islands, they're broken up into what's called atolls. And in the atolls, you have lots of different resorts within the 1,192 islands, 26 atolls, which is covering a total of 871 kilometers across the equator. So you can imagine the amazing climate and everything we have there as well. Out of those islands and atolls, only 160, if you think about 1,192 islands, 160 are tourist resorts, and only 22 of those islands are actually inhabited by Maldivian villages. In the Maldives, there is 2 different seasons. The 2 seasons which you've probably heard about is the rainy season and the dry season. The rainy season is from May to November, and the dry season generally is from December to May. That said, because of where we are in the South Ari Atoll, which is, you'll see in the next few slides about the location, the climate for us, even in the rainy season, the climate doesn't mean to say that you've got days and days and days of pure rain. It quite often is the case that you have maybe a shower in the morning. I was there a couple of months ago. I was there in April. So I was technically there in sort of the rainy season, and we had about 2 days where we had 30-minute shower. I mean, yes, it was a heavy downpour, but actually I found it amazing, really relaxing to watch. And then an hour later, we're on the beach again. So it doesn't ruin a vacation. It's just part of the climate that we have. But the most popular time is between December and May, which is when you would also imagine the prices, of course, are going to be higher as well. So let me start by introducing you to the resort. In total, there's 44 villas over 6 room categories at Fiyavalhu. And the resort opened during COVID. It only opened in 2020, which quite often will be said, why did you open in COVID? But it was a brand new resort. The development got finished, and obviously it seems silly not to try and open when there was an opportunity to. So they did open in 2020, but obviously due to the time and what was going on in the world, the real launch of the resort has only been this year. So we're really looking at Fiyavalhu as a new resort to the collection of resorts in the Maldives. There's only 22 inhabited islands, as I mentioned earlier, in the Maldives, and this resort is located on one of them. It's on an island called Mandu in the South Ari Atoll. On the island, it's got a really unique culture, and you have the feel of that culture within the resort as well. In the island of Mandu, there's only about 250 people on the island in total. 100 of those are staff of the resort, and 150 are the local villagers. So pretty much there's a nice balance between the villagers and obviously the resort staff as well. There's 2 dining venues at the resort, which I will come to shortly, and it's got beautiful landscaping. You've got that real tropical feel, which really makes it perfect for all your clients. So whether they're romantic couples, if they're families, solo guests, people looking for wellness, there's something for everybody at Fiyavalhu. And the great thing is that they can all be separated as well. So you don't have the families invading those people who want to have that relaxing, tranquil wellness break as well. So it's a really good diverse mix of facilities, which I will go through with you. So now you know a bit about it and where it is, let's talk about how to get there. So the flights, obviously I've got, some of you have come from all different locations around the world, but just to focus on a couple of the main tourist destinations where I think the majority of you are from the US, there's lots of different connections which come generally overnight with a transit in the Middle East, so either mostly Dubai or Doha. Costs are usually around $1,500 US dollars per person for return flights to Mali with the transit. And you have airlines such as JetBlue, American, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Etihad, all flying that transit route. And it takes from JFK, for example, because this was the journey which I've done before as well, it's only about 12 hours. But that is with the transit as well. And then that's going to Dubai or Doha. If you're coming from UK, you've also got a direct flight now, which BA has introduced from London Heathrow directly to Male, which takes around 10 hours directly to Male International. And with BA, that's again around $1,500 US return flight there. Then you have from Dubai or Doha, whichever the transit comes through from the Middle East, up to Male, which takes about 4 hours. So once you get to Male, you've then got to get to the island, and you can see on the map on the left, the two darker areas are the two atolls. So you've got the Male Atoll, which is obviously where the international airport is, and then you have the on the left-hand side, you've got the South Ari Atoll, which is where the resort is located. So to get to the resort, you fly into the international airport of Male, as I mentioned, into the international airport. And then from there, you take a domestic flight down to Marmagilly. And Marmagilly is just on the southern tip of the South Ari Atoll. And then from there, you then take a speedboat to the resort. So it's about 20-minute flight from Male to Marmagilly. And then the speedboat from the airport takes about 30 minutes. Transfers cost around $310 US per person. Well, not around, it is 310. It's a set fee, which we organize the transfers for you at $310 US. And that's for anybody from 12 years and above. Children under 12 years, so up to 11 years, is $155 US per person. And that's the return flights for the domestic flight down from Male to Marmagilly, and then from Marmagilly to the speedboat to the island. Domestic flights, just so you're aware, the domestic flights run from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. So if you have anybody who's going to be arriving in Male after 4 p.m, then they would probably have to do an overnight actually in Male itself before then the next day transferring down to the island. And something which is just a tip which I discovered when I was there recently, the luggage allowance. If you're not expecting and you're not used to having traveling to the little islands, the domestic flights travel allowance is only 20 kilograms. So you might have 32 kg allowance on your international flights, but once you get to Male, that domestic flight is only 20 kilograms per case. So just something to bear in mind. And also something which I found when I was there recently, the size of your cabin, case. So if you've got a case that you bring on as hand luggage, is a lot smaller than the normal international flights. So it's just something to bear in mind if you've got people coming. Just a little tip that I picked up when I was there recently. So let me tell you about the rooms, where they're going to stay, a huge part of the resort. In total, there are 44 rooms. They're split over 12 garden villas, 12 deluxe garden villas, 9 beach, 5 pool, 4 deluxe, and 1 2-bedroom family suite. And if you're good at maths, you would have worked out that that actually comes to 43, but the 2-bedroom family suite is technically counted as 2 rooms, which makes the 44 because they can be sold separately, as well as beach villas. The garden villas, they're all looking out over this lush greenery that I mentioned earlier, really lovely manicured garden spaces, all decoratively coloured with tropical colours like the multicolored bougainvillea, hibiscus around the gardens, and lots of variety of locally grown plants as well. And it's all managed by local gardeners and groundskeepers that look after the actual beautiful grounds at the resort. And the beach villas, as you would imagine, they are intimate, they're really they've got a huge comfort value to them. You feel like you're being immersed in the jungle, but you're like steps away from the ocean and the beach. So it's really beautiful. At the moment, there are no over-the-water villas. There will be a phase 2, as I said earlier, we have only just opened the resort. There will be a second phase to the development where over-water bungalows and a few additional amenities will be added, such as a full-purpose spa facility as well. And that's probably going to come in a couple of years' time. So it's on the cards, but at the moment, the villas that we have at the resort are all on the island, but they are beautifully situated within the grounds that we have at Fiyavalhu. All of the rooms have the choice of 3 different meal plans. We can either do half board, full board or all-inclusive. And obviously, being an inhabited island, the resort doesn't have alcohol on the island. There is what we call Jade Atoll, which is basically a luxury yacht, which is moored just off the jetty that we have at the resort. So all alcohol is available, but within the resort, it is non-alcoholic, but it is available, and that is covered in the all-inclusive plan as well. All of the rates that we have include the 16% travel goods and service taxes, so the TGS, and 10% service charges included. The only thing when you hear me talking about any rates or you get any quotes that won't be included is the mandatory green tax, which is $6 per person per night, which has to be paid by the guests at reception on departure. So let me share the rooms with you. So this is our leading category room, which are beautiful. All the rooms, apart from being new, they're all very well finished. They've got a very high spec to them. They've got a very good quality finishing, and the sizes are great. I mean, this is the leading category garden villa, which is 49 square meters. We have 12 of these in the resort. And in addition to the actual rooms, you've also got the living area with the sofas. So we can actually have extra beds in there as well. Rates for this room start from a half board rate start from $246 per room based on a double occupancy. Children are $75 based on a half board. The children rates that I'll give you now are applicable to all the different room categories as well. So the 75 half board child rate up until the age of 12 is applicable for any of the room categories. Full board, if you wanted to have full board in one of our garden villas, that is anything from $315 per room. And for all inclusive, that starts from $460. For children, for the full board is $90, and for all inclusive, it's $130. So that's our leading category garden villas. And then we have our deluxe garden villas, and these are beautiful. I actually stayed in one of these earlier this year, and you feel like you're in your own little world, your own little jungle. And these are, again, really good size, 49 square meters, and we have 12 of these rooms as well. They're all individually located, so they're not attached to anybody. They're all self-contained. And rates for these rooms start from $276 per room based on half board, $360 based on full board, and all-inclusive from around $575. And don't forget, all of these prices that I'm giving you starting points from include those GST taxes and service charge as well. Then we move on to our beach villas. These are some of our popular villas that we have, which are, again, 49 square meters in size. And we have 9 of these. They're all similar in size, but it's just the location that moves around. This is obviously direct access to the beach, and you have an outside patio area which you step out to, and you're directly on that beachfront. As you can see in this photo, you're literally right on the sand. Half board rates for the beach villas start from $400 per room, again, based on double occupancy. Full board from $475, and all inclusive from around $615. Now, this is probably my favorite room. It's the deluxe beach villas. We actually spent half of my time in the Maldives when I was there earlier this year in this room, and I fell in love with it. I did not want to leave. The deluxe beach villas are slightly larger than 80 square meters. 4 of them, and we have these rooms that are directly straight out onto the beach, individually located, and we have 4 of these all together with private beach access, so you have your own little area. And these are very similar to the pool beach villas. The pool ones have, you can see there, we have a fantastic, I'm not going to call it a plunge pool because it's actually big enough to actually have a little swim in. 6 meters by 3 meters, and the depth is only 1.2. So it's great for families as well. So it's not too deep, but it's perfectly positioned to cool you off in that hot sun. Have a dip at night. When I was in these rooms, we sort of have a nice little swim in there at night, look up on the clear skies and those beautiful unpolluted skies and the stars. Lovely rooms. And obviously with these as well, you have direct beach access. Rates for these rooms start from around $536 based on half board per couple, based on double occupancy. Full board just over $600, and all inclusive just over $750 per room per night. And then we have our family villas. So our family villas, as I mentioned earlier, are actually 2 rooms that are interconnecting. And these rooms can hold up to 4 adults and 4 children, or we could have 6 adults in these rooms as well together. And they can also be sold separately, which is why they add to 2 of the beach villas, but they are perfect for families as well. They also have a nice little outdoor shower area to wash that sand off your feet before you come into the rooms as well. Rates for our family villas start, and this is based on 2 adults and 1 child, start from $990 for the 2 rooms. Full board is $1,130, and the all-inclusive, again, for the 2 rooms based on 2 adults and 1 child, is $1,300, just to give you an idea. And the resort itself is quite spaced out on the tip of the island. You can see from this map of the island the different rooms and where they're located. None of them are on top of each other. They're all very well located. They're very well appointed in the fact that they're the same categories are all together. But the island itself is not huge, but it's very well spaced out. You never feel like on the resort that you're on top of anybody. You feel like you've got your own space and you've got a really good area that you can call your own whilst you're at Fiyavalhu. And you can see that there is a line that goes across the bottom of the map going up towards the right hand side, and that's the boundary of what's the private resort. Guests are able to walk around the resort, and we do tours of the resort, and you can see the villages, but that's our boundary where the guests at the resort can happily go out and explore the island, but that's the sort of safety perimeter of the resort where the guests are contained for just resort guests only. So that's the rooms and the location and the layout of the resort. So let me tell you a bit about the dining. So with the dining, we have 2 restaurants, as I mentioned earlier. Fiyavalhu, this is our all-day dining, open buffet, international cuisine, got lots of different options. There are a la carte options as well, and it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it does serve a whole range and a whole variety of dishes in the resort, in the restaurant as well. So it's a great location, great open space as well. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the space is all open air. It's got an open wall concept. So when you're sitting in Fiyavalhu, you're literally looking out over the beach. That view that you can see in the main photo of this particular screen that you're looking at, that was taken by me at breakfast one morning when I was sitting there having my coffee in the morning. So you've got a lovely view to wake up to when you're having breakfast. And then we have Ria Cafe. And Ria Cafe is a lovely poolside dining option, which is part of the food offering that we have at the resort. And it is all day. It's not buffet, it's on request, so it's a la carte menus. And they've got all different types of anything from poolside snacks to full lunch and dinner meals. And the food is just amazing. And they've got a grill there. You can see some of the examples, some of the food that I had whilst I was there as well. Burgers are amazing. But they do all sorts of different fresh juices, selection of mocktails, soft drinks, and it's open from 10 a.m. till 10:30 in the evening. They also do afternoon tea there, so if you have any guests that are really interested in afternoon tea, that is also an option at Ria Cafe. And then, although it's not a restaurant, it's also a dining option. We have a fantastic destination dining option within the resort where guests can enjoy a really special occasion where they have their own private dinners set up in different locations around the resort and on the island. This photo that you can see here of this dinner setup was actually taken by me in April when I was there, and I was there for my birthday. So this was my birthday dinner setup that I had. Sitting there at night, I had a lovely lobster seafood course, absolutely gorgeous. We also have the option of dining in an outdoor cinema. So you can see that in the inset photo on the left-hand side. There's a selection of all different movies. I'm not going to say you've got your latest box office hits there, but you've got some really good classics, really nice location. You can just sit there in those seats and just watch a film with the ocean next to you. It's absolutely beautiful. And that's just along our beachfront as well. So although these aren't included, there are costs involved with them. Dining under the stars, as we call the private dinners, like my birthday meal, great for anniversaries or any other celebrations. They start from $190 per couple, including a 5-course dinner served to you at the table by chef. The cinema beach, for example, is from $200 per person. But it all depends on what you're looking for, what the menu is, and we create the experience according to what the clients are looking for. So moving on from dining, what else is there to do at the resort? And the answer is lots. There is a lot of activities and recreational things that we have at Fiyavalhu. They range everything from sporting activities like volleyball, badminton, we've got cruises, we've got the excursion, diving. We've got excursions that start from around $75 US per person for things like manta ray snorkeling or turtle snorkeling. Usually there's a minimum requirement of 6 guests for those excursions, but they do start from $75 US per person. Diving, we've got a great dive school. We've actually got PADI certified trainers there as well. So if you're PADI certified or if you wanted to get PADI certified, we can also do that at the resort. When I was there in April, my partner decided he wanted to be a diver and he got his PADI certification in 3 days whilst we were there, and he hasn't stopped diving since. So it's certainly an opportunity which is certainly not to be missed when you're in the Maldives. Single dives, if you're already certified, start from around 180 per person. And then we have our water sports. So this is all the fun stuff for the families and the kids and the big kids, the adults. We loved it just as much. And these start from $50 per session, depending on what the activity is. But we have jet skis, we've got the traditional banana boats, windsurfing, catamarans. You can see the list there. That's just a sample of them. There's lots of other things there as well. So there's plenty of activities to keep everybody occupied and entertained whilst at the resort. Or they can come and sit and do absolutely nothing as well. That's just as acceptable as going out on the jet skis. Then looking at the facilities in the resort, so we have a spa. The spa, as I said, is going to be expanded in the phase 2 of the development, where we have a full service spa. At the moment, we just have a couple of treatment rooms, which I've got to say, though, the massages are heavenly. There's nothing beats a good Maldivian massage. Gym. Keep your fitness up, keep your exercise regime going. We have a games room with pool and table tennis. And we also have a kids area. So again, for those families, we have an area which we offer babysitting services. We do activities. The kids club can look after the younger children as well. Most of that is pre-arranged, so you have to book that in advance, but it is all available. And there's a little souvenir shop there as well. So now, I mentioned earlier some of the exciting new things that we're going to bring to you today with regards to packages, which will help really tailor make the experiences that you offer to your clients. So this lovely photo here is of Ahmed. Ahmed is our front office manager at the resort. He's always there with a happy, welcoming smile. He's actually a Maldivian, but not necessarily not from the island, but he is from one of the other islands in the South Ari Atoll. Actually, he's from one of the northern islands, and he's always there. And the concierge team are always there to help as much as you really want them to. They're always on hand to give you guidance and support. So the first package that I want to highlight to you is our discovery package. So these packages are just amazing value, and I can't stress that enough to you. They're one-off packages to really launch the resort into the market. As I said earlier, they are a bit of an unknown because they have only just opened really to the international market. So these packages are really to whet your appetite and help get your clients to come and discover the real Fiyavalhu experience. So the first package, they're all 7 nights. There's 3 packages I'm going to talk to you about. All the packages, in fact, are 7 nights. They're all inclusive. They include all-inclusive meal plan for 2 people. So this is per couple. This is not per person. This is per couple. They also include your transfers. So that's your domestic flight down from Male and then the speedboat back to the island and then return. Early check-in or late check-out, depending on what time people are arriving. The taxis, and it's all, as I say, for 2 people based on the inclusions. So the first one, in addition to all of that I just mentioned, is our discovery package. And this is to really help expand the knowledge of the local culture, the Maldivian way of life. And as I mentioned earlier, you've got a great opportunity at Fiyavalhu to explore a real, authentic, local Maldivian village. The way everybody works. They do a lot of boat building. We went out on an island trip and we engaged with people that were building all the traditional boats as well. The dunny boats, which are the ones with the big, like what I call the Viking spike at the front. Discovery packages start from 2,526 per couple, and that's including not only the room and in the meal plan that I mentioned, but a traditional Maldivian cooking class with our chef, a guided island tour. So as I was just saying, you can engage and really sort of immerse yourself in that local culture, and a sunset fishing excursion, which is a real experience. And it's how the traditional Maldivians go and fish. When I was terrible at it, by the way, but it was great fun. It was proper line fishing. So you had this great big long fishing line, you're throwing it over with the baits, and lots of people caught a lot more than I did, but it's great fun. And you do it at sunset as well. So it's a really great experience. And as I said, 7 nights, all inclusive, with those package inclusions, from 2,526. Fantastic value. The next package I want to show you is our romance package. I mean, you think of the Maldives, you think of love, romance, honeymoons. How can you not when you're in such a beautiful destination in the world? So the romance package, as I said earlier, includes the all-inclusive meal plan for 7 nights, and the romance package includes the private sunset cruise. So when you're on the boat house looking over the islands, it's absolutely stunning. The dine under the stars experience, like I was showing you earlier, that private dining experience on the beach in your own little area, and the beach cinema experience. So you can experience that whilst on this package as well. And this rates, I mean, I can send all of this information to you, so you've got all the different prices depending on the rooms and time of year, but this starts from 2,888 per couple, with, again, all of those inclusions. So absolute amazing value. Then the last package I want to show you is our wellness package. Set in the island that it is, and being an inhabited island, it's a great opportunity for detox and rejuvenation. It's such a tranquil, the gardens are just so well manicured. It's such a peaceful and serene location. It's ideal for any wellness escape. Included in this package, in addition to your room and your all-inclusive meal plans, transfers and taxes, you've also got a wellness inspired cooking class by chef. So that's Chef Mohammed there, who's again a local Maldivian, and he will take your clients through an amazing experience where they do an organic, healthy cooking class, all using the ingredients from their organic garden they've got at the resort already. Also includes a 45-minute spa treatment every other day per couple. So during the whole 7-night stay, they get 3 spa treatments per couple, also included in this 7-night inclusive package. And they have the options. There's a specially curated menu for healthy food and beverage menu options in both Cavelli and in Ria Cafe as well, which will be offered exclusively to guests that are staying on this wellness package. Prices for this wellness package, you might be able to see some of them on the screen, but they start from 2,526 per couple. So again, just tremendous value for your clients to offer. So as I said earlier, these packages are exclusive. They've only just been launched to the market. They're only bookable through us. And these packages will be available immediately. And they're available now. Go and book them. Get your clients on them. So finally, I want to finish off with telling you what the benefits are for you guys. So travel advisor benefits that we offer at Fiyavalhu. So as, again, a launch to the market incentive, we're offering currently 15% commission on all bookings for any travel that's prior to the end of September. So for short lead bookings or any bookings that are coming in before the end of September. From October onwards, that reverts back to the traditional commission of 10%. And the great thing is those amazing packages I just mentioned to you are also commissionable. So you can get all of these packages for your clients, and they are commissionable. So you can still claim your 15% on them. I've just had a message come through about the package prices, and absolutely you will get copies of all of these as well as this presentation, but you'll also get copies of those flyers that I showed you as well, as so you'll have all that information. The next benefit for travel advisors that we're offering at the moment is agent rates. We want you to come to the island and experience it for yourself. Come and see the amazing resort that Fiyavalhu is. So the agent rates are available, subject to availability, of course, but they're available pretty much from now onwards. And they start from $265 per person on half board. For full board, it's 325. And sorry, I said per person. That's actually for 2 people, not for 1 person. That's per couple. And then for all inclusive, for agent rates that we're offering is from 445 all inclusive. The upgraded experiences, which we will also offer subject to availability, will be included in those advisor rates as well. You do need to pay your transfers though, so your transfers from Marley to the to Marmagilly and then Marmagilly up. And as I mentioned earlier, that was 310 per person for the transfers. But fantastic rates for travel advisors to come and experience the resort themselves from 265 half board rates. So it's a fantastic rate for you to come to the Maldives and come and experience Fiyavalhu for yourself. And then finally, for travel advisors, we're looking at bringing a fam trip to the island. So we're looking at hosting you fully inclusive for 7 nights at the resort. We're looking at some dates in November at the moment. Obviously, we'll confirm the dates once we have the participants. And what we're looking at bringing the 5 top producing agents that come to us between now and then. So for anybody booking from now until October, we want to sort of bring you to the island as a thank you for your support in launching this amazing resort to the market. We'll bring you to the resort and look after you and give you the full Fiyavalhu experience. Registration will be open from probably in a couple of weeks' time. And it'll be open on our travel advisor portal, which I'll tell you about in a second. So if you're interested in actually joining us at the resort, you just need to register your interest for consideration and then get your clients to book us and come and stay. And then the top producers will be invited to come and join us for that all-inclusive stay in November. I just mentioned the travel advisor portal. So for those of you, I think many of you have already joined the travel advisor portal. But for any of you that haven't, we have our travel advisor portal on our website. And once you've registered and you have your login and you have access to this members only area, you will get information on not only webinars for other properties in our portfolio, but also exclusive deals, promotions, invites to fam trips or notifications of fam trips. But you can also download the important information. So such as those flyers, fact sheets, anything that you might need to help support you with information to give to your clients. But on top of all of that, we're also here for you as well. So if there's any questions that you have our details. Myself and my team are more than happy to help support you in giving the information on Fiyavalhu to your clients and making sure that they have the most amazing Maldivian experience when they come to us at Fiyavalhu. So that's covered everything for this webinar, and I just want to thank you so much for your joining. I'm now just going to go to the Q&As to see any questions. I see a few questions come through there, so just give me 1 second. Let me go and have a look for you. Okay. So a couple of questions we've got on here. Kerry, yes, absolutely. We'll be sending an email with, what we will actually do is we'll send you a link to a folder where you can download not just the information of the packages and the rates, but also with the details of the travel advisor portal, etc. as well. And do log in to have a look at the travel advisor portal, because there is a lot of information on there that is exclusively only given to the members only area before it goes out to the main market. And you get exclusive access to that before anybody else. But yes, we'll absolutely send you a follow-up email with the information as well. Packages, prices, all the different information. Thank you, Shelley. It is an absolutely beautiful resource. And yes, we do have fantastic rates. And as I said earlier, this is an introductory promotion that we're doing at the moment because it is very new to the market. It is something which we want to try and increase as much exposure as we can, and through partnering with people like yourselves, we're really going to help get the word of how amazing Fiyavalhu is, and support you. A couple of other questions that have just come in. So again, with the packages, yes, the packages are inclusive of all of the taxes, inclusive of all of the transfers as well. So the flights down, and yes, they are amazing. Thank you for that. They are fantastic packages, and you'll be hard pressed to find something with those inclusions at those rates, including taxes and transfers in the Maldives at the moment. So they are definitely something for consideration. James, yes, the resort is it's a dry island, so as it's one of those 22 inhabited islands in the Maldives, it doesn't serve alcohol in the restaurants or the bars, but it does have, as I said earlier, it does have the luxury yacht, which is just moored outside of the jetty, which you can see in my picture behind me. Just at the other end of the jetty, there is a luxury yacht, which I was there several evenings of the week having a glass of wine at sunset, watching the sunrise over the water. So yes, it's very much available, but it's not on the actual resort and in the actual restaurants itself. What I will say though is they have some amazing different mocktails. They have non-alcoholic beer. My partner was talking about how he didn't even miss it. Having a beer on the beach was just as good with a non-alcoholic than what it was without, and it actually means you can enjoy the resort. So April, yes, the commission is the same. Well, you can't actually book any of these online because it is a new resort. They don't have that booking portal on that. Commission is only available through us. They don't take commission on any direct bookings through the website or any other method, but we actually look after all their reservations. So if you come through to us, we'll make sure you actually get all of those commissions. If you go online and you see something online that you want to book, if you come to us, then we can facilitate the booking for you, and then you do get your commission. Anything that gets booked direct doesn't actually qualify for the commission, because the commission is being managed by myself and my team at Hummingbird. Great. Well, I think that's answered all your questions. Anybody have anything else they would like to ask? Just pop it into the Q&A. Just give you another few seconds. But I hope you've all enjoyed learning and listening about the resort. And as I said, we're all here to help give you any further information or anything else you would like to know. Just let us know. We can jump on a call with you directly. We can help tailor make anything to your clients. The concept behind Fiyavalhu is making it special. Fiyavalhu, just out of interest, I didn't mention this earlier, Fiyavalhu actually means footprints. And so Fiyavalhu Resort is about guests making their own footprints in the Maldives. So it's a really nice story behind the name as well, Fiyavalhu meaning footprints. Okay, great. Well, I think I've answered all your questions now. If you do have anything else, feel free to reach out to us. Drop us an email. Go and register on our travel advisor portal. Please do that as soon as you finish on the webinar if you haven't already done so. So it's a great way to sort of keep up to date with everything. Thank you all once again for your time. It's been a pleasure having you on the call today. And we look forward to looking after your clients and supporting you all in the very near future. Thank you again and have a great rest of the day. Take care.